mental grip. They force him a symptom that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it. If news anchors informants who informing them, there's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this report. It ships important gifts, of course it is. What extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder is it real? Rappers actors say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder is it real?
In a world where we got a bunch of gammas running around emasculated. How's everyone going? Yeah, you know, pretty somewhat busy week still, even though I know you guys haven't heard from me, but the activism will proceed and continue to commence mañana and forward. You guys are going to get plenty of content. How's everybody doing? What's up? Nikki, Scott, Amanda, Steven, Kendall, everyone else. Shout out to the legends. I see Vader Bears in here. What's up, homie? What up, Tom? All right, so I'll give you guys a quick little update as to what happened, then we'll get into the stream. I got a couple pretty funny videos I found for you guys. And yeah, I mean, I think that honestly, if you don't understand the title, that's pretty insane. You should understand the title just because the way it's spelled. But anyway, yeah, I had my Yellowstone court date the other day, and on the 19th, I don't even know what day of the week that was. Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think it's Thursday. But yeah, so I'll tell you guys what happened, and then we'll get into it. Yeah, I got a call from them, and a lot of people would say like from a tactically legal perspective, like keep this on wraps or something, but no, I'm good. I'm pretty transparent, and I'm just in the right. So I got a call that day, no, the day before, saying, hey, this is whoop-de-whoop, whoever, from Yellowstone, and I was just seeing if you wanted to set up a teleconference video call instead of having to be here physically, because I know that you're traveling, etc. So I call her back, leave a voicemail like 15 minutes after she left me the voicemail, and I missed the call. No response. Call like 5 times, like call. Still getting no response. Then finally she answers, like a little before 4 or something. Says she'll call me back and she'll send me over the documents. I have to sign them and send them in to get approved by the judge for the teleconference call. I'm like, okay. Then she sent them to the wrong email. She put my email in wrong or whatever, and so I didn't get them. Then I called back again because I didn't hear anything back, and I hear from her, and she's told me, we found out she sent it to the wrong email. I'm trying to get through this, is whatever. So I fill out the documents, I send it in, and of course we're hours and hours away, and I don't hear anything back. So we have to go just in case. It's a federal mandatory court appearance, right? So if I was to not get approved or they didn't respond and I wasn't there, then you know how that goes. They'll kidnap you again. So we drove all the way there. And then I get the email like 8:30 when my court case is at 9 saying I'm approved. I'm like, oh, you guys really helped me out with that one. So I'm like, I'm already here, whatever. I'm just going to go in. So we get in. in the Yellowstone federal courthouse or whatever without the mask. Chris and I go in there. It's all good. We get through the metal detector. No one says anything to us about the mask. They tell us to sit in the waiting room. And then, of course, the lady comes in and tells me that I'm going to have to wear the mask to get in and see the judge. And I'm like, well, I have, medical exemption. I just read the federal regulations, etc. And she says, no, you're going to have to get in there anyway. I'm like, what? So that conversation kind of becomes reiterative. She's just being really snappy with me, won't let me speak, is interrupting me. She says, you know the deal. And I'm like, yeah, no, I just said the deal. And then she says, look, I understand your MO, right? I know what your MO is. And you're not going to just start yelling at me like you did these other people or something, alluding to while I was there because I was using my First Amendment, actually still in the RV in Yellowstone, just for like 2 minutes and very calmly talking, not yelling at all whatsoever. And then so we just sitting there, see what's going to happen. She just interrupted me, won't let me speak. I'm like, I guess this is why you guys don't let cameras in here, because you can just literally treat me however and just coerce me and talk crazy to me, and you'll not be held accountable. No one's taping anything. That's why I can't tape, I guess. Then she goes and talks to the judge. She comes back, and she says, okay, he said that you can go outside to your vehicle and do the conference call from there instead of coming in with the mask. I'm like, okay. Right. So we go into my truck. I set it up. I set the phone up. I enter the Skype call, and I'm looking in the courthouse, and then she asked me to identify myself. And then I hear them talking, and the next thing I hear, they're trying to be quiet, clearly. And he says, do you want to go tell him? You just take them with you and go tell him. And so I'm like, Chris, I think you'd rather come out here and talk to me or whatever. So then they come back out there, and they say, effectively, that the judge changed his mind, and you actually do have to go in there, right? After they had told me I didn't have to. And you have to go in there with the mask on, or we're going to put a warrant out for you. You're going to be arrested for like FTA and contempt of court. I haven't even been in the court yet. What are you talking about? So I'm like, so you're telling me that if I don't go in there and wear a mask, even though I've been approved for the teleconference call, then additionally to that, the judge said that I could go out here and do the teleconference Skype call. Now you're coming back out here saying that if I don't come in there, that I'm going to be arrested, right? Which is just the definition of coercion. And in fact, under Section 242, it's punishable by up to life in prison and or the capital punishment, like that, the death penalty. Literally, Title 242, people acting in an intimidating manner via coercion or whatever. So pretty hilarious. And that's why I'm like, she's just talking crazy. Again, this girl is ridiculous. Just talking crazy, super unprofessional, super disrespectful. And I'm like, Chris, will you just record this? Because she won't even let me talk, right? And she's like, no, I'm not. I know what you're doing. You're just doing everything for YouTube. I'm like, what? I know what your MO is. I'm like, yeah, my MO is to not be here. Like, not to have to drive hundreds and hundreds of miles to come back here in a federal court because of my First Amendment my friends died for. That's my MO. My MO is that you keep your word once I now have to be here anyway. And I sit out there and do my video. My MO has nothing to do with you intimidating me with U.S. court marshals with their hands on their guns half the time, circling around me, telling me I'm going to be arrested. I'm going to be arrested if I don't go in there and wear a mask, as you don't even follow your own federal regulations that I read on the way here. Apparently, they're all above the law, even their own laws, right? Because it's on federal property, you have to wear this mask because, oh, hell, Biden. But apparently, even the exemptions that are listed on there don't apply to these people. They get to do whatever they want to. And so I tell Chris to start taping. As soon as he starts to tape it, of course, she's gone. She's like, I'm out of here. I'm not listening. She's like, either you come in there with the mask or we'll fill out the warrant. I'm like, the warrant for what? And she doesn't answer. She just walks away. And I'm like, turning to the court marshal, like, do you see how she's not even letting me speak? You say, oh, I'm professional as this. Of course, they're just all robots. They don't say anything. And this was a court after when they first called me. She came back and she's like, so the government's they offer me a plea offer on the phone before I even go to court, before I even have the Skype call or anything, which is pretty telling of their cards if you understand how that works. But she offers me $500 fine. And court fees, and they may even drop the fine if you want it to be lower, and they'll give you plenty of time to pay it. And I'm like, I'm not taking a plea. So then, of course, there goes the whole fake be nice thing out the window. Then it's just straight to like, oh, we got to intimidate this guy. So I honestly contemplated. I'm like, I just let her walk away. I get back into the car. My heart's beating pretty fast. I'm really not trying to go to jail. When I see that I get into the court, these people aren't letting me speak. They're talking crazy to me. They're trying to intimidate me. Then they come out just giving me contradictory orders, and they got their hands on their hands on their guns, and it's just really an uncomfortable situation. I know how that goes. They'll take me to court. Or take me to jail, and they'll treat me terribly. They'll move me all the way to the bottom, drag it out, make it take forever for me to even get booked or to give me a bond, and throw me somewhere, whatever it is. Like, they'll treat me like crazy in there. So I'm like, I guess I'm gonna have to do it. So as sad as it is to say, and ironic as it is with the title of the stream, I went back up to the front. Then this court marshal comes out, and he's like, "Oh, so you do want to come in here?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, you guys are threatening to arrest me if I don't, so I don't really have a choice, do I?" He's like, "I didn't threaten to arrest you." I'm like, "Okay, bro. Well, they said that I'd get arrested. I didn't say that, though," and all this stuff. I'm like, "Are you just trying to fight with me?" It's like they were all trying to provoke me. It was insane. It's insane. You don't get to tape any of it, so they get to do whatever they want to do. And I'm like, "Okay, man. So can I go in or what?" And he's like, "I need your ID." I'm like, "Bro, I've already been in here. And even put my name on a piece of paper. Anyway, here." He's like, "No, you have to. It's the law. You have to give me your ID." I'm like, "Okay, here's my ID." Then they let me back in. Then they made me wear this little mask that's like super small. I literally can't even get it across my face. It's so small. It's like for a 5-year-old or something, which is, allegedly child abuse. So I get it on there under my nose, walk in there. He's like, "Immediately, you got to put that up over your nose." Just a whole ordeal. So there's a pretty quick situation. It was ridiculous, but I had to put it on there. I was going to go to jail. I know a lot of people want to hear the keyboard words like, "You should have gone to jail." That's a really cool story, bro. But I'm already dealing with plenty of stuff going on with all that. So I put it on there just literally to avoid effectively being kidnapped by psychopaths with low IQs. So then I go in there, I sit there, and they go through all of the court cases, people starting fires, leaving them unattended, camping where you're not allowed to, getting caught with all kinds of drugs, whatever. I'm given the highest fine out of all those people. Of course, everyone just falling like dominoes into guilty pleas. They're scared of the federal government, and they're like, "The government suggests, the government." And of course, the super non-biased judge is literally just relaying whatever the government says. He immediately is in agreement with it, because that's how judges are supposed to be in a non-biased courtroom, working for the government. Effectively, you're working on behalf of them, and that's not how it's supposed to be, but that's how it is, of course. And so then it finally gets to me, and they basically read, I'm like, not guilty, and that I was going to look into representation. It's a little bit trickier, looking for a constitutional lawyer specifically. The one I've spoken with is from super far away, and so he's talking via the ADA, see if I can find another one. So he gives me like a 3-week extension. He said it'll probably be a little tricky for you to figure it out. And then the lady speaks up, as they're like shuffling papers and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, the government requests that he be put on bond because he has an FTA." And I'm like, "What?" Like I'm a flight risk, right? I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a flight risk. I just drove hours and hours and hundreds of miles and delayed my entire trip," which, by the way, you guys will pay for all of it, literally pay for it. But delayed the whole trip, the whole tour, right? Just keep relatively close to there. Had to drive all the way back. I'm such a flight risk that I did all that. And yeah, FDA, I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're talking about something I did where I didn't know I had court from like 8 years ago or something, and I didn't show up, and was immediately thrown out because they sent the wrong address or something. I can't remember what it was. But because of that, I'm a flight risk, and so they make me do this bond thing. But what they're doing, and they think they're smooth, is they're getting my name signed on as many documents as they can get them on. And so I'm sitting there reading through it. Which you can tell they're just like so taken back that someone doesn't just like go straight to the bottom and sign. It's so out of the norm, and I'm reading through all the little legalese nonsense. Of course, in the end, they're basically tracking me into probation terms, right? Like probationary terms until the completion of the trial or whatever, right? The actual charge. So I'm like, this is what? I'm like, so this is effectively probation, and I'm having to discuss it with the judge, and I'm reading it, and he's like, "You're reading it too fast." And I'm like, "Okay. You're supposed to already know what it is," you know what I'm saying? But like, anyway, this is saying that, say that something else happens, which I'm being super respectful. I'm like, I'm not trying to be difficult. But there are illegal statutes that people arrest me for when I freely speak and represent the First Amendment, or they misinterpret them, right? And basically this says, if in a situation where that happens, you can add additional sentences up to like 2 years in addition to the charge for the no First Amendment permit, right? In addition, so they're trying to trap me. So I'm saying they're trying to make it where I can't do what I do on the tour and keep going out and freely speaking. It's effectively like entrapment, and I'm verbalizing that. I'm like, I understand what this is saying. And it's saying like in addition to, and this is just ridiculous because I'm not going to capitulate to totalitarian orders or the misinterpretation thereof. This is the most crucial moment that I do this. Is we're literally watching our country die right in front of us, and that's why I'm doing this right now. That's literally why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm not going to, in the most crucial moments, be silenced via coercion and threat of taking away my freedom when I need to do it until the government effectively lets me tell me when I'm allowed to go back out there and address grievances from the government, right? Which is what the entire First Amendment's about, and how it ends. The right to address the grievances of the government shall never be infringed upon. So I'm like, yeah, this is practically entrapment. And he's going through it with me, and I'm like having to point out certain things, and like I said, he wasn't like he didn't seem like he had malevolent intent. He did, and the judge didn't seem like he did, but it doesn't really change like how ridiculous this whole thing is. And I'm like, okay, well, I just verbalized that I'm going to sign it under duress. And I said that numerous times. I'm like, I'm only signing this under duress because effectively I'll go to jail if I don't sign this. So it was a signatory bond, right? So just a signature release, $750 signature release, whatever. They got my name articulated under duress. So there you go. Sorry that's like 15 minutes of me explaining to you, but it was a crazy ordeal. It was a whole ordeal. And then I'm still trying to find the representation. I mean, I know I'm in the right, and so I'm not really tripping about the case itself. I'll represent myself if I have to. It's just a horror deal. So if I represent myself, I have to get back there. It's just super annoying. It's really sad. It's a really sad state of affairs in America. And I guess I have faith in Yah, and I think this may also supposed to happen this way. There are precedents that haven't been set. These statutes within the national park haven't been addressed. They haven't been challenged. And so I'm not going to get too much into the specifics of that, where I'm effectively going to have to train myself to be a lawyer, as in not an attorney, right, but a lawyer, the one that argues the law. It has nothing to do with the Bar Association. And so I won't show my cards regarding that all the way. But, it's all good. So there's the update on that. I know a bunch of people wanted it. I'll give you guys the number to Yellowstone. You guys were asking for the number to Rushmore. Maybe you guys found it. If you guys want to do that, be cordial and respectful. Don't be talking crazy. If you guys do want to call in to Yellowstone, even just to get the updates of what's going on, or what exactly is he being arrested for? Because it's funny. I mean, it's just ridiculous what I'm there for. Of course, we have globe zealots that hate me due to a bias of the fact they can't accept the heliocentric model is literally in defiance of all basic rudimentary physics that you cannot debate at all. It's called natural law, and they get mad at me. They get triggered at me, and then they're like, "Oh no, I don't like what he's talking about." So arrest him, and it doesn't matter. You guys get it. So I'll give y'all that number in a second if you want to, but just again be respectful. The creators got all this, so I'm not tripping. Right? I'm not tripping. So there you go. So now we're gonna get into the actual subject, which is. Dun, dun, dun. And of course, I got to be particular how I speak here too, because once again, this is a super free country. You're not allowed to question. How dare you question the government? But emasculated. This guy seems to be a perfect representation of the title. And we get it again specific. So it's like, we are too blind to believe that the air is going to kill us, and basically, you have some virtuous high ground if you are in fact scared of it. And we just watched the complete emasculation of men in America prior to this, and then this has just exemplified it tenfold, right? Where we got stuff like this. You don't say you can't breathe. How enlightening of you. I mean, this is nothing new. What I'm saying? Let's be real. So probably just a coincidence. And we're just watching it happen, and of course, not medical advice and all the nonsense I have to say where I can't even specifically address what's going on, right? But it's just real crazy. I see it when we're traveling the U.S., right? I see a bunch of couples where the dude's scared of the air, but the girl's not. I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on here? Or it's like, you can tell she's got hers on, and like once they get out of the car, she's like watching him because he's supposed to be putting his on, and he's like obeying. You know what I mean? And we're just watching no men stand up and represent the truth and stand tall in the face of totalitarianism and the death of our country that even in principle we have people die for, right? Because all those little Gradual wars were set up and orchestrated, and we all know that. And we're watching it slowly slip away. Now, I'm not like a doomer. It is what it is. I know that there's a very good point to be made where it's like they've effectively pushed you into a fight or flight response mode, where that way they can have much better behavior predictability, if you understand what I'm saying. And so, but for me, I do agree you should focus on self-sustainability, being fruitful and multiplying and increasing and making family and getting right with the Creator, and growing food and having animals. And that's what I want to do. But I was called out here. So and I know that for a fact. So it's like the Creator does want us to stand up, and He wants us men to protect the women and children, to stand up for them and to speak on their behalf. And no one's speaking on their behalf when they're literally not audible and we can't hear what you're saying. You're definitely not a very big intimidation to the system when they give you your wardrobe requirements every morning and you just blindly comply to it. We have no strong men, and you guys get it, right? Well, I found a couple of videos when I was looking real quick, and I'll just chat with you guys. I'm not going to keep the stream super long. Like I said, we're going to go do some activism tomorrow. But all right, so here's one of the videos that I have from this tour. Perfect example of the emasculated tendency of quote-unquote males in America nowadays.
Yeah, suppose that somebody has a COVID here, it starts to and cough on you.
Really? I can't even play any more of that. You guys already know why. Here's another video. Just a second. Hey, why do we have a graven image out here? Why do we have a statue out here? It says, "Thou shalt have no graven image." We have a statue out here of Jesus, supposedly.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
And I'm trying to understand your question.
It said, "Have no graven images." This claims to be a church representing the Bible, and it literally has a graven image outside of it, a statue, what the pagan Romans did.
Well, Jesus is alive, right?
Yeshua was his name. Yeah, he resurrected, absolutely. But the
So he's
Father,
alive.
yeah, but I have no graven images.
That's not a graven image.
That's
He's
an
alive.
engraved-
He's standing.
That's not alive. That's a stone.
Yeah.
That's
It's a
blasphemy.
representation of live Jesus. Yeah.
Okay, well, his name was Yeshua. Let's go. So I just played that because obviously you see the guy's really cool wardrobe, and then the wife comes and tells him what to do. This is the problem. This is what majority of relationships are like now.
That's a representation of live Jesus. Yeah.
This dude's that's not alive.
Standing.
That's not alive. That's a stone.
That's a representation of live Jesus.
Let's go.
Okay, well, his name was Yeshua.
Dude, I don't know. I just think that's so wild that supposedly that's your spiritual conviction. That's your place of worship. You can't even defend your practices there because your wife didn't give you permission to finish the conversation. And that's kind of my whole point. I will address, of course, everyone knows the natural order, right? You got the Creator, Messiah, man, woman, child. So it's Yah, Creator, and then it's man, woman, child. And this is not some like sexist, you're better than women or whatever, right? They are much better with children, even like nourishment. And you guys know how I feel about this. It's very simple things. And in fact, if you don't understand it, you probably need to figure some things out and get right with the Creator. But men are a little bit more logical, and women are more emotionally driven or tend towards emotional, interpretation of information quicker. And that's a good and bad thing, right? Like they are arguably more intuitive, and they can interpret emotional reactions around them much better, and they're good with children, and et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, the natural order of things is of course, the Creator, man, woman, child. And this comes with a lot of responsibility as men. And this is the important part, I think. It comes with lots of responsibility as a man, because what you do is you effectively go and you answer on behalf of the order of your family to the Creator. So like you have the responsibility to actually answer on behalf of, right? You're the one that goes and represents on behalf of your family. You have the responsibility. We don't have that anymore. We don't have, yeah, it exists. And I'm again, not being a doomer or whatever. Like, it does exist. Some people have woken up from this. We have tons of people all of a sudden homeschooling their children and putting the Creator first and living off the land and getting outside of these cities. And that's beautiful. It's incredible. It's best apocalypse ever, But at the same time, it is somewhat disheartening to watch these guys run around muzzled, scared to speak up or defend women and children. And that's what they're supposed to do. And dare I say, not even limited to your own family. And that's actually where you walk the line of like being a little bit selfish, where you're just like, oh, who cares about any of that? I'm just out here doing this. This is all you should do. And blah, 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 blah. It's like, you should do that. You should defend your woman, and you should defend your children, and you should protect and provide for them overall. That's the top priority, all within the understanding of living within the will of the Father. But you're supposed to, as a man, and as men, we are supposed to represent the women and children overall, like as a whole. Okay. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And we don't have that going on at all. So anyway, I think that that's a major part of this entire thing. I have much more empathy for the women that seem to get converged on by these people in these stores and stuff. And not to say that it's ever justifiable. I don't think it is to comply. I mean, you know, unless literally you got people with guns on their hips threatening to kidnap you, I guess maybe. But still, I even felt bad about that. But the men should definitely not be. And if you go into stores, you'll see, like, it seems like in some of these cities that the women are the only ones, and very few and far between, that don't comply. The quote unquote men have all complied. They've all complied. And this is because of the overall flip of society, where it's like women run things, women tell the men what to do, right? If you don't let your woman go around just wilding, looking like crazy, out of pocket, half naked, it's because you're insecure and you're not a real man. And that's backwards. That's actually the exact opposite of the truth. And now it's like I'm talking to this guy that's a deacon at this church, and I'm like, why, you have a graven image? And his wife comes and says, let's go, time to go. That's not how this works, bro. It's super backwards. And so we need the men to stand up and to be strong and to represent what the truth is. And they're emasculated, and you know, it's on purpose. And I don't even know how long we have to worry about it. Can't get into specifics, right? Let's just say, like, let's really concentrate on maintaining fertility. Right. And so maybe this will be a natural balancing effect anyway, if you know what I'm saying. Weak men raise weak men. Yeah, exactly. Which is why, hey, maybe they won't be able to if you can't make them. I'm just saying, though. It's also become very taboo to put women in check as well. Yeah, of course. Like, there is, you know, there's a balance there, bro. Like, it should be like love and pure intention. I think that the purity of the intention is everything. Like, you know, like, men shouldn't just be like power tripping, right? They should be in the will of the creator, right? But it's like, there's a bunch of weak men. Howdy, Austin. What's up, Bob? Bob's obviously a legend. So yeah, it's like everything is backwards, but they did this on purpose. They broke up the family. They told the woman that she stays home with her children and she raises them, or homeschools them, and the man provides. She's actually being put into a box of enslavement, when it's literally the number one thing that would make women the most happy and completed. And it's really sad. And I put way, and you guys know how I feel about it. I'm not getting too redundant with this stream. I know I have a tendency to do that, but like, way more responsibility on the men. Way more. Like, it's the men's fault. And when you look around and you observe that all these people are literally scared of the air, and just will comply to whatever the news tells them, whatever the government tells them to do. Do you expect women to feel compelled to follow you, or to feel safe and secure in your presence, as if you'll defend them against these threats? Of course not. Of course not. And so now we've seen it flip, and that's where the women are telling the men what to do, and the men aren't standing up for them, and they're just complying everywhere. And this is symbolic of it. And if you're a grown man, over a year and a half later, still complying and being emasculated, you get no sympathy from anybody. You're a joke, and you're bluntly a coward, and probably sunken in nihilism and apathy, and it's just sad. And so for those of you certainly that are still organic doing that, you need to wake up. That means, yeah, you're like, okay, if you're going to fire me then, bro. No, I'm actually not. Call the manager, call the cops, bro. I'm not leaving. You're like, oh, Austin's going to take advice about talking to the cops. But you guys get it. Like, you got to stand tall, dude. King Shin, thank you for the $20 super sticker, man. Much love, brother. So there you go. That's kind of what I want to talk about. Like, it's a very meticulous plan, right? It's symbolic of the death of your free speech. And just it's your way without having to say anything to express your compliance, bro. And so we just get to sit back, and now it's, who's slaves, who's obediently slaves, complacently, and even happily slaves. And it's sad, but it's like probably more men. And then you see, like, I see couples all the time where the woman is not wearing it. The woman's not wearing it, but the man's wearing it. That is wild to me, bro. Oh, so your beard's looking better, bro. Oh, well, thanks, man. A lot of couples unequally yoked. Yeah, You could say that. Many happy slaves out there. That's the best type of slave to have. In fact, the best type of slave to have is the one that doesn't know they're a slave. For sure, it's actually funny now. Yeah. So thoughts on where it's going? Gradual process to just continuously get the people over to the side of complacency to the beast system. And then they'll come out and they'll bring out their final move. You know. Shalom, awesome love, brother. Thank you, man. What's up, Frank? How you been, brother? I'll die before I comply. Exactly, and that's a female with more cojones than most men in America. And look, like, here's the deal. Thank you for the super sticker, that flat file. I think I'm supposed to be sending you the infrared, man. I'm sorry, dude. I'm super behind on that. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be sending it to you if I'm not mistaken, but I'll get the camera out soon, next couple of days. You know, we're losing because people are wearing them in places they aren't even mandated yet. Yo, people wear them in their car on bikes. I saw people jogging a second ago wearing it, but I wouldn't say that we're losing it. It's because who's we? And is the divide supposed to happen? I would say yes, absolutely so. I think it's a positive. Like when I go around these places, and I was called out into the world to do this thing. I can tell you that much for sure. Which is why I don't really care what anyone got to say about it. You weren't there, bro. But it was understood, as it actually always has been, all the way throughout the scriptures forever. We weren't about to go to New York City and wake all 10,000 people up that came by. So I wasn't about to go to the NBA finals around 100,000 people and wake all 100,000 people up. That's not at all what this is. This is to plant the seeds of those who will fall on the right side of the Great Divide. In my opinion, the Great Divide is like a very ongoing, perpetual, even eternal thing, right? And it's just becoming much more blatant now, where that's why I'm like, when people swear up and down, they know that the mark's here already. They know that this is the end. They know that whatever, right? Like, well, like I can't say that. I can't say that. It's getting crazy. We're in the season of the end. The creator showed me we're in the season of the end. That can mean lots of things. And everyone always thinks that they're in the end. But of course, it is real easy to sit back and just be like, no, we know. I know we're not. Everyone always says that. It is real. It's really crazy, but it's always going to look like that because it keeps progressively getting worse. It's always going to look like this is it, because it gets so bad, and that means it's just progressively getting worse. So I think that we're watching a very gradual corrosion, a very gradual spiritual corrosion. You know, we might be experiencing a major shift in numbers, right? And that may be as far as this actually goes, as incredibly malevolent and evil as that is. You know how it goes. We're dealing with eugenicists. This is your calling, Austin. Thanks for all you do. No problem. Thank you. I love what you're doing, Austin, brother. Thanks. Much love. Don't want to sow seeds on the wayside. Exactly. You know, man, you know, it is what it is. Like, sometimes you plant the seed, you won't even realize that the seed landed, right? It's like someone in the back that wasn't talking or whatever. You didn't even see them. They're the one that were supposed to hear it. So you just gotta do your part. Do your part. Stand up, and as men, we need to come together. We need to. It's just so insane. It's so foreign for a lot of men to even contemplate the possibility that they would coordinate with other men to go protect the group of men or women and children. The group of. So we have to instill selflessness as well. But of course, you guys know I don't have children. I do intend on getting there sooner than later, and that is everything that I really care about, you know, is getting a wife and making children. But I know I have to do this first. And I know that maybe without the personal experience, it's a little bit different. And you can say you'll understand when you get it. I know that I will lay down my life for my wife, lay down my life for my children immediately, always, non-hesitantly, defend them, support them, provide for them above all else, living within the will of the Father. But I also do know that I will, if need be, stand up with bravery for women and children in general. And that's what we need to do. Because 10% of men not being super emasculated, but doing so within the will of the Father would take down the other 90% a million times, wouldn't even have to get physical half the time. They would run away and cower and go ask their wifey what they got to do now, you know? So that's where we're at. We just need the strong ones to stand up and let the weak ones fall out. Like a lot of them, man, I don't know if the light's still shining up in them, bro. I don't know that they're salvageable, as crazy as that sounds. I don't think they want to be saved. And honestly, this is the main problem. Not to get to, this is really what it is. They've casted a spell where they've now given the illusory virtuous high ground to those men, okay, who comply to whatever the women say, okay, and then they've also created these parameters of what the men should do, and they've created the illusion that is making them virtuous. It makes them manly. The irony, the inversion is overwhelming and baffling and somewhat surreal. And it's working. It's working on some, and actually it's really like kind of backfired on them in lots of ways. I will also show you guys this real fast. Remove.
Did? Yeah. Suppose like somebody has a COVID here. It starts to and cough on you. Fucking sick.
It's so funny every time. I wasn't even trying to play that, but I will say you guys might have saw this, but this dude wrote a really cool little article here. He talks about a bunch of us in it. Come over here. Let's change the background. All right, so this is QAnon, is Baby Truther Talk. And I guess this guy's like probably big on the QAnon thing. But here we go. Anti-political truthers can take anti-political worldviews pretty far, and by pretty far, I mean to their logical conclusion. One flat earth YouTuber, WitsitGetsIt, his first name is Austin, never called his last name, Witsit, goes as far as to call voting sinful and says partisanship is fictitious. This is relatively basic, though. Yeah, it's relatively basic. I don't know if this guy has like a little gamma male undertone of sarcasm and subversive wordplay, or if he's just not that good of an author or whatever, because you can tell. I don't know. I didn't actually read this. Maybe he has. I have a feeling he's just clearly that kind of triggered that cue's not real. But voting being sinful, I still stick behind that 100%. You're literally complying with the beast system. That's what you're actually giving your support to the beast system. Of course, they name a bunch of our homies in here. You know, Rose 777, the legend that she is, right there. I'm not gonna read all this, but I think they covered this on the Baby Truther show. But pretty funny here. The aforementioned Austin Witsit performs a character named Baby Q Austin, where he parodies Trump supporters and Q adherents. The joke is essentially that Q adherents trust politicians such as Trump and DeSantis and look to conventional politics for solution. Witsit says Trump is the most likely candidate to be the Antichrist. I thought that was so funny, but yeah, that's what I said. You are correct. You are correct, my man. No, Trump is here to save the day, and he's going to come back. You didn't even know, but Trump loves us, and he didn't have to. Trump didn't have to be. He didn't have to be president. He was a billionaire, okay? And he put all that aside for you because he's a patriot, right? And he's just playing the game with the Grabblers. He just took their awards and got bailed out by them because he wanted them to think that he was on their team. And he planned this since his birth. He was like 5 years old, and then kindergarten, he was like, I'm going to secretly get into the elite groups of people so I can save American patriotism, you know? And he's been up to this whole time, and you don't even know what he's up to right now. People think Operation Warp Speed was him just trying to get everyone genetically modified. No, it's actually this major military operation that's all using code words, and they're going to take everyone down. You just wait and see, and if you don't know that, then you're crazy. But like, whatever. I mean, if you want to believe it, bro, I get it. It's Operation Trust happened in the early 1900s, bro. It's exactly what the QAnon operation is. It's like Operation Trust. Like, pretend there's some crazy behind the scenes movement that you don't have to give too many details to because it's super, covert, and they're gonna save the day to get them basically to sit on their hands. I mean, no, the government would never do that. Anyway. I hope you had a great Shabbat, legend. What's up, Him Creeper? Yeah, I did, bro. We just chilled. I'm not buying it till you put the white lab coat on. Then we had, of course, the little goober, and I don't care if any of you guys like him. I think he's just a complete total loser. Audit, and he's just wrong about the whole thing. The people at Rushmore told me I couldn't go to the free speech zones without a permit. Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about all that, but it's just like, it's hilarious. They told me I couldn't even go to the free speech zones without a permit. Then you read on your show that it says you can go without a permit. And then you give them an A. What a clown world, bro. This dude's a clown show. Absolute clown show, completely biased. He shows this little segment where it's like, and I was doing a little bit of my, I'm going to be a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? Ordeal. I was studying a few cases. and because it looks like I'm gonna have to represent myself, which it's all good. I'm not worried about it. Probably best in a way. And I found that little quote that he takes out. I wasn't even like paying attention to his class because he's just a loser, but I came across it. It's like Rushmore doesn't become a public forum no more than a museum becomes a private forum automatically or whatever, right? And then all around that quote he cherry picks out is like dozens and dozens of cases of people explaining court cases, district court cases, Supreme Court cases, all these different things explaining that it has, like, just because they designate a certain area as a public forum, like a free speech zone, this in no way actually means that nothing else outside of that isn't a public forum, and that there are plenty of places unidentified within these national parks. And do they actually have the right to actually specifically dictate what is considered public forum, when the truth is that it's a federal park and it's all paid for by the taxpayer money, and it doesn't matter what anyone has to say about it, and anything that goes against that is literally unconstitutional and means absolutely nothing. But of course, this guy's a loser. But that's how it goes. We have a 1.1 million sub channel cover it. We have like almost 600,000 sub channel cover my other video. We have another guy with 30,000 subs or whatever. But don't worry, our view counts aren't going to go up. Our sub counts aren't really going to go up. That's not how it works. We're shadow banned, so it doesn't really matter. We've known that the whole time, but he's probably just triggered that the Earth's not a spinning ball. I'm sorry that the Earth doesn't defy physics. I'm sorry that whenever you don't feel like you're moving, it's because you're not moving. I'm sorry that we know everything about it. You can, it's like people. I went to the moon. I was basically there in spirit. What have you done, millennial? It's like, no, you didn't, bro. It was fake. You're really making this weird. You're making it weird. But whatever. That's what it was. If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, it's whatever. He gave me an F, he gave them an A. And what's so funny is I'm just going to make a response video edited, and I have like the original interaction that he hasn't seen yet all on the GoPro, where they give me contradictory orders, can't cite the ordinance. I asked him to cite the ordinance. He says, oh, hey, man, bring your ticket over here. This guy wants to be cited, huh? Just trying to bully me and being a smart ass from the very beginning, and you're going to look dumb, but you already do look dumb because you covered in your own video that it says that you don't have to have a permit in that area. And they told me the opposite. So I thought, as a clown, bro, I knew as soon as he posted his vid, he was gonna justify the laws restricting free speech. Keep crushing, bro. The world needs to be free of the spells they are under, and you're absolutely helping break them. Thank you very much, Jared Bear Grizzly, for the very generous super chat and the kind words, brother. Yeah, bro, I'm I think that I just maybe put in this position because I'm actually the guy that will fight it all the way. I'll fight it all the way. You guys might as well just dismiss the case. That's the best thing you can do. And I think they kind of already know that. But whatever. I thought it was triggered. The Earth was not a ball. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. Just got here, start from the beginning. Okay, a bunch of people were emasculated, and they're super scared of air, and apparently that makes them have a virtuous high ground where the actual little gamma males are somehow the strongmen now. There you go. There's your summary. Pretty sure Con and Constitution is there for a reason. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. They do not want this on their record sitting in front of the founding fathers. That's my opinion. Tell them bring it, bro. I'm not scared of them. I'm not scared of them. That's what they're trying to scare me with. Like, oh, put him on bond. Oh, man, tell him that he can't leave. Oh, tell him that if he doesn't come in here, we'll get him another charge for contempt of court and FTA. Failure to appear, as I'm there, literally there in person. That's not a failure to appear because you won't let me in there, right? You're not going to intimidate me. You're not. That's what you're frantically. The government says, who's the government? Who's the government? Can you define the government? Oh, like the federal government. You can't define a word with the word. Who's the government? Oh, a piece of paper, a word is requesting something. Oh, the word is saying this? Like, what do you... No, take personal liability, stake it, prove that this is a court of equity, prove that you actually have jurisdiction. And this is all like this whole other avenue. I don't even have to go that avenue. I don't even have to go. But guys, we have to start to stand up. You know what I'm saying? We have to start to stand up where we don't just let them bully us around and scare us. And then they come up with this new little law. They think they're so smooth that, it says that you have due process and a right to a jury to be heard in front of your peers. And that's all it says. It doesn't have a stipulation, right? But no, if it's under 6 months, they've made new statutes that say, well, if it's under 6 months, that's not long enough to really matter. So you don't get to have a jury. So it's just up to that judge. That's not how it works. This is not a communist government. And I wouldn't comply to it if it claimed to be one. And it effectively sort of is already, right? But no, that's not how this works. So you don't have a right in front of a jury because we said so. Because it's under 6 months, right? That's the maximum penalty, 6 months in jail. Since it's under 6 months, we don't get to hear a jury because a jury's not about to sit there and agree with them. You're not going to get a unanimous decision against free speech in freaking Wyoming. You know what I'm saying? So no, we'll just leave it up to. It's like, come on, bro. That is illegal, bro. That's illegal, bro. I will not comply. And you guys better just dismiss the case, bro. Let's be real. That's what you guys need to do. But whatever. And I know some people are like, I'm being risky here. They might watch this because they clearly probably do. And like, oh man, they're gonna get triggered. Now they're gonna really come in. Dude, they're wrong. They're wrong. And there's plenty of court cases within their own little paradigm of like nonsense that proves that they're wrong. So it's like, whatever, I got it. I'm not there. Maybe it's just supposed to happen. Yeah, y'all's got my back. It's no big deal. And then of course I read right before, like the night before, you're supposed to, go up there without anxiety and trust the creator, and he'll have you say what you have to say. And I actually even cited freaking Nunes versus New York. Permit shall not be used for a prior restraint on free speech to the judge, and not to try to argue with him, right? This is just my arraignment or whatever, which I had to comply to and sign documents under duress, and that means it's all inadmissible. But like, it's like, I was explaining, well, it says that a permit can be used for prior restraint on freedom of speech to actually prevent, the right of the speaker. So if a permit can be used for prior restraint on freedom of speech, and that's a Supreme Court decision 8-1, I'm going to go and not comply to unconstitutional permits as prior restraints on my freedom of speech in the most crucial moment of America as we watch it slowly start to bleed out. I'm going to try my best to defend it for the children's sake before us, right? So I'm going to keep going. And he's like, that's not exactly what it says. I'm like, it literally, that's exactly what it says. That's literally what it says. It says a permit cannot be used for prior restraint on free speech. So, and it's just a wild situation that we're in, and we need to stand up while we still can. And it's on behalf, like, the men need to do it. The men need to do it, and they need to have strong support systems, wives, with them, and be a unified front. They become one flesh, and men should lay down their lives if need be for their wives, like literally. And yet, I can tell you one thing, man, these people running around scared of the air are not the real lay their lives down for their wives type. But you guys get it. They're like this guy. Oh, I work at Ross. I got the juice. I got the
dude. Yes. Suppose that somebody has a COVID here. It starts to and cough.
Really? It's funny every time to me, bro. I have a bunch of other good ones, like this real big bodyguard trying to like intimidate me at Walmart, and I'm like, I can't hear what you're saying, bro. What are you saying, bro? Like real jack dude, but to me, he's like a pillow. He's like a Teletubby or something like that, like one of those little bears. He's a Care Bear. He's like super jacked, but just like, I can't hear what you're saying, bro. I can't. What? You know what I'm saying? You want me to do what? Where? What? I can't hear you, bro. But I can't play it. I can't play it because we get into specifics, and the grablers ain't going. All right, so there you go. I gave you guys like a solid 50 minutes. I'm gonna chill now. We'll do activism tomorrow. Couldn't find the specific speaker that I have that, of course, Rushmore stole. And we do have the small one. I haven't been able to find it anywhere, bro. Like anywhere. I'm gonna have to get it shipped to an address, and it may be a while before we get that one. But this one it's still a speaker. It still works. And we're gonna go downtown Seattle tomorrow. So stay updated that way. You know what I'm saying? And then hopefully it actually sends out notification or whatever. Thank you for the PayPal, John. Much love, brother. Let me check these real fast. In a world. I think we're going to try to work on a new intro that's shorter, Eugene, thank you for the very generous donation on Cash App for Yeah Is With You. Much love, bruh, and thank you for that on Thursday. Glad you're back from Tyler. Thank you for that on Wednesday. My boy Frank, thank you for the generous donation on Tuesday. Two of them, actually. Or that's not Frank, actually. That says Francis. Maybe it is. I'm sorry. But thank you for the generous donations, bro. Much love. You guys are awesome. And I'll catch up with anything that I happen to miss or whatever on the next stream. I just checked them. We should be caught up. In a world where no one knows what the world is. Thank you, Kelly, for the generous donation, or for the donation on PayPal. All right, I love you guys. Any update on the tour? Yeah, so we're in Seattle, Washington right now. I know we haven't been super updated, but we're gonna come back down. I'm gonna kick it up. I'm gonna link up with you. I just thought about that today, Vader Bear. We're gonna link up with you while we're out here. When we come back down, I think we're gonna try to link up with Jaron in North Central Cali. We're gonna hit LA. That's where my boy Chris is from, and then yeah. So tour updates and timelines. I will get the alternative. I'll map out the West Coast here soon. There's like a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's like court dates, different people lining up with different schedules. So I do plan on kicking it with my boy for sure in Utah. Got some other people I think in Utah. Then we're gonna hit like areas in Nevada. I'm gonna go do activism in Vegas, of course in like LA. So right now we're in Seattle. We'll probably, of course, hit Portland. There's a place that looks a lot like a representation of potential flat Earth, where you have like the mountain in the middle. And it's like a perfect circle of water outside of it with land, and it literally looks like a little representation or visualization of a flat Earth. I want to do some activism there, just purely for the optics at the least. And so we're going to work our way down and maybe cut across, zigzagging. So we're going to link up with everybody. So Vader Bear, I need to work out some details with you. Denver, bro. Yeah, Kendall, I know I saw where you messaged me. Denver, Colorado. We're definitely going to hit Colorado and Denver. So I'll work on the best little zigzag path for us, or where we need to go. It's a whole bunch of different dates floating around, and then they threw a wrench in it, but they try their best to derail it or even end it. Certainly as if they're going to intimidate me with their little bond stipulations, but it's not going to work. But now I have to kind of work it all out and update everything. So I will be doing that soon, bro. And so I'll start staying up to date with the tour. So you guys have my word that from here on out, like starting tomorrow or so, with the website, I'll keep it updated with the location, not my literal location, but like the city. And then we'll even try and I'll upload maybe some type of like list of upcoming cities and tentative dates. And there you go. Then we'll be back all the way across for Flattoberfest on, I think it's 22nd to the 24th. So there you go. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. I just saw my job can fire me, and I'll just quit delivering that 78-foot tall pallets of auto parts that I deliver to the Southeast every single week. That's what I'm talking about, bro. If everyone stands up, like a whole bunch of people in this college were like, they decided they weren't going to go. They changed all their rules. A bunch of people at this like Tyson Chicken plant or whatever in like North Carolina, they just all walked out together. They're going to have to change their rules. They're going to have to walk it back. That's what it all comes down to, is just standing tall, unifying, and just not complying. And the power's in our hands. They start pushing stuff on the truckers, pretend they're going to mandate some psychopathic ordeal, right? They're going to just walk out, and this country cannot survive with even in a week without these truckers that are the unspoken glue of the system. So that's all we got to do is stand up tall. And it's really not to like exclude the importance of the women or whatever, their bravery, of course not. I think most women in this chat are braver than 90% of women in America now, probably. Maybe that number is a little high. I would hope so, but it's really up to the men in these important professions to stand tall. So there you go. Because like to me, I would never actually encourage someone to work within the healthcare system. So, I hope you guys do stand tall and don't just fold or just run away or quit or anything like that. But, I think that in a part, the places you're not going to be able to get away with it, it's kind of like you maybe shouldn't work there. It's kind of like part of what's going on here. It's like, oh, I can't send my child to public school where they're going to indoctrinate. I can't let the state raise my child because they won't let them breathe and they're going to just, blah, blah, blah. It's like, maybe you're supposed to homeschool your child. I know it's maybe seeming inconvenient, or this job won't let you. Maybe you're not supposed to work that job. I'm pretty sure pharmacia isn't at the top of the list of the things that y'all love and is excited about, right? So just kind of look at everything as positive as possible and understand that Yah is working right now. Stand tall, and you guys are going to be good. I'm prepared to have them let me go if I need be. What a legend. Wendy, you're a legend. All right. I love you guys. I know I always say long goodbyes, but you guys get it. Just as the real quick recap that I typically do, it's very simple. Don't be this guy. I'm so I'm so cool, man. No, you don't have a virtuous high ground pretending that if somehow you run around, you comply to the totalitarian orders, that you're actually the one that's protecting everyone, when the truth is that you are folding when you have the actual responsibility to protect and provide for those women and children. You're doing that in no way. And in fact, most of these women I see, they run you, they tell you what to do. You try to capitulate to the societal norms that actually just make you weak. We have a bunch of gamma males running around, squirting everywhere, super scared, living in fear, and you're literally not in any way a threat to the beast system. In fact, you've capitulated to them in entirety. We need men to stand up. You're being emasculated, and it's been a very systematic approach to doing this. Even now, they've migrated into the children and the way that they are raised, the households are raised in, and exactly what they're taught is the norm coming up from a young age. And this is, of course, because, like I said, it goes creator, man, woman, child. They want the natural order of things out of the way. And of course, I know you can't breathe, brother. You don't got to tell me. And this is nothing new. This is nothing new, but it's probably just a coincidence. So it's symbolic of the end of your free speech. Do not capitulate to totalitarian orders, not medical advice. Back up, Gradualers. Get a girlfriend. All right. Love you guys. I'm going to catch up with you on the flip side, like a coin toss. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. So just don't comply. And actually, whenever they revile you for his name's sake, rejoice, for they did that to all the prophets before you. If you want to support the tour, $ WitsitGetsIt on Cash App. Witsit at protonmail.com on PayPal. Masqueradetour.com will start to be updated again frequently starting like tomorrow. Also have the merch link below. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of different ideas for the merch that I'm gonna update, probably 4 or 5 new designs in the next day or so. Gonna have a new intro, got a few like skit ideas people we're gonna do it with. Got a debate coming up on like the 4th 2v2 on modern day debate. I'll give you guys a detail on that. I think we have another tentative debate, another like podcast Twitch stream that someone asked me to be on. So I think I'm gonna start making my rounds. It's gonna be real hectic, busy next couple months, but we're going to finish the tour going out swinging, you know. So there you go. I love you guys. And we'll catch up with you tomorrow. We'll do some activism downtown Seattle. And I'll try and get all the schedules worked out. I think I'm going to have to work on a secretary angle of this because there's a lot of stuff going on. But we'll figure it out. Till next time. Peace.
That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock it, twirl somewhere orbiting. The theory's disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it, if news anchors informants who informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this, we courting ships, important gifts, of course it is. But extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were storing tricks. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers actors say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?